Hello friends, welcome to another Magic Monday. Today we're looking at a deck called This is America. This is America. With Akul the Unrepentant, 2 black, 2 red, legendary Scorpion Dragon Rogue, 5/5 flying trample, sacrifice 3 other creatures, put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield once each turn as a sorcery. So, you already know the theme. The theme is a lot of little creatures and a lot of big creatures. This is America. The idea, but we sacrifice 3 little ones to put out a big one? You can read into that what you want. 30 black, 14 red, average mana cost of 3.9 with a whopping 18 cards over 6. 6 or over, I guess. We got a bunch of creatures here. We got 7 instants, 2 sorceries, 16 artifacts, 6 enchantments, 3 planeswalkers, 40 lands. Let's keep it going. We got stuff like Fungal Infection that gives us a little Sapperling token that we can sacrifice. We got this guy, this little rat man. When he dies, you make another little man. Really good for sacrificing. We got Harried Spearguard. When he dies, he makes a little rat man. So this rat makes a man, and this man makes a rat. I don't know. I feel, well, I mean, it's a woman in the art, but you get what I'm getting at. Bitter Blossom makes us some little fairy rogues that we can sacrifice. We've got a Discordant Piper that makes a goat. We've got a Doom Dissenter that makes a zombie. We got a Ghoulish Procession that will also make zombies when non-token creatures die. We got some removal with Infernal Grasp, Heartless Act. We've got this in case we need some draw power. We could sacrifice a creature. That's kind of the goal of the deck, is to sacrifice creatures anyway. We got this Ghoul Caller. He makes zombies every turn. We got a Piper the Swarm. He makes rats every turn. I don't know what the connection is between people and rats, but this deck loves it. Sheoldred's Edict, just for some removal. Fire Prophecy for some removal and potential card draw, or card swapping, I guess. Forbidden Friendship lets us make a dinosaur and a human man, who we can sacrifice them both. Goblin Instigator gives us 2 goblins. Sacrifice them both. Rawl's Reinforcements, 2 elementals. Sacrifice them both! You get the point. We got some mana here. We've got a Bastion of Remembrance so that we gain life and our opponent loses life every time we sacrifice something. We got this Black Market Connection so we can make some Changeling Shapeshifters to sacrifice. Headless Rider lets us create zombies when this or non-token zombies die. I don't know. It could be replaced with a better option, I'm sure, but I kind of just like the art. Lord Skitter, he makes rats every turn, but he's also a rat, so that kind of makes sense. Chandra makes 2 elemental tokens for the low cost of 0. Rabasque's Forge makes a Phyrexian Horror, actually called Phyrexian Horror. So we just sacrifice that. We can attack with it, but we don't have to. Logomos makes elementals for us to sacrifice. A bunch of mana rocks. We got this Death Priest. Whenever a creature, at the beginning of my end step, if a creature died, make a Skellington. We got this Nightmare Shepherd who can bring back some of those non-token creatures as 1/1 nightmares for me to sacrifice again. Pitiless Plunderer, when another creature you control dies, makes some treasure tokens. Fun stuff so far, but as you can see at the bottom, we're getting into the big stuff. Jaya will make some red monk tokens for us. This will help us draw some cards and make some treasure tokens. This is just another mana rock. Then we got the actual meat of this deck. We've got Demon Lord Belzenlock. It's a 6/6 flying trample demon that can help with some draw power, and we can put him out by sacrificing 3 things. Lily's here because it's amazing. It's just an amazing card, and whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. It's just so broken. Massacre Worm, wipe stuff out. Perforator Crocodile, it's like Massacre Worm, but it puts Stab Wound on everything, so it gets -2/2 as an enchantment, and the opponent loses 2 life per Stab Wound that's on their creatures. So this is super cool, and I love this card. Vein Ripper has flying and ward of sacrifice a creature. Whenever a creature dies, regardless of who owns it, opponent loses 2 life, I gain 2 life. Fantastic in this deck. Ancient Copper Dragon lets us make some treasure tokens, and it's a big flying thing. Trumpeted Carnosaur lets us discover 5. That's really it. It just lets us pull another thing from our deck. Wormcoil Engine is a 6/6 Death Touch life-linking worm, but as a bonus, if it dies, I make 2 smaller versions of it, and then I can sacrifice those. Ancient Brass Dragon lets us roll a d20, put any number of target creature cards with total mana value X or less from graveyards onto the battlefield under my control. If I sacrifice a bunch of little guys at the beginning, I can bring them back with this Brass Dragon and sacrifice them again. Demon of Loathing, 7/7 Flying Trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. Just a big, powerful demon that is cool. This Flesh Gorger is a 7/5 Menace lifelink, which is neat. Sheoldred will let us bring stuff back from the graveyard, and it's just a cool broken card. Drakuseth, the Maw of Flames, 7 mana for a 7/7 flyer, but whenever it attacks, it deals 4 damage to one target and 3 damage to another 2. Pretty cool. The Balrog. Haste, 7/5, can't be blocked except by legendary creatures, and when it dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. Pretty neat. Fun to drop on the board. Sundering Titan, also fun to drop on the board. When it enters or leaves the battlefield, choose a land of each basic type and destroy them. So you will probably end up destroying at least one of your own lands, but if you're lucky, you can destroy multiple of your opponents. And it's a 7/10 golem. Portal to Phyrexia. I don't normally use this card because I just think it's like a game-ending card, and I find it kind of lame. But with a deck like this, where it's a super high mana cost, I had to throw it in. And we've got Ulamog, because of course we have to have Ulamog. And we have Emrakul with a 13/13 Flying Trample protection from instants. So the potential of dropping this on the board, with a good draw, we could drop this on the board on turn 3. And that's ridiculous. So just to map out what that would look like, turn 1, we either Fungal Infection or this one. Turn 2, we probably put out a Mana Rock and another one of these guys. Turn 3, we put out Akul and sacrifice some stuff. It's a little hard for turn 3. Turn 4 is a definite possibility for Emrakul. And a turn 4 13/13 Flying Trample is pretty amazing. Handful of lands. That's it. That's the deck. Before we get to some games, let me just remind you to be kind to yourselves, to be kind to each other. And if you like this video, please like this video. Consider subscribing to the channel. Before we get to some games, I just want to say thanks for watching. Have fun. We'll see you in the next one.